Are you nervous about doing a listing presentation? Well, this video is for you. We have live realtors doing a listing presentation, and Dot Hicks from Maryland, she moderates these, she organized. So stay tuned and watch this presentation because it's excellent.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. We are in for a wonderful treat. We have superstar Lily Handy Dominguez, who will be providing her expired listing presentation inspired by Mike Ferry. And we have superstar Gina Jimenez Moya, who will be our seller for today. So Lily, why don't you go ahead and give us some information about yourself, and then Gina provide us some information about yourself, and then we will get started with today's presentation.
Hi, everybody. Well, I'm from San Antonio, Texas. Now I've moved around lots and lots of times. I'm a retired engineer, did real estate in Oregon, was a broker there with just one realtor as my assistant. Moved to South Texas, did 5 years there, and I'm now in San Antonio for 4 years and just jump-started my business in October.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Lily. Gina.
Hi guys, I'm Gina from, right now I'm in Florida. Used to be in New York when I originally started my real estate career back in 1997, sold for a little more than 10 years. Went into retirement because I had a son and was enjoying that lifestyle. Moved to Florida about 4 years ago, and as my husband says, I'm coming out of retirement.
Wonderful. All right, well, Lily and Gina, take it away.
All right. So knock, knock.
Hello.
Hi, Gina. Thanks for having me over. I'm excited about getting your home on the market and getting it sold.
Oh,
Do you
Lily.
want to take a quick look at your home?
Oh, sure. Let me take you around.
Awesome. May I put all my things on your kitchen table, please?
Absolutely.
And should I take my shoes off?
If you want, I have some booties on the side if you want, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Okay, I'll put the booties on because you have a beautiful home.
Thank you.
All right, Gina. So I wrote down 3 things, real important questions. And one is, do you absolutely have to sell your home?
I do not have to, but as you can see, it's a very large home, and want to scale down and do some traveling.
Okay, not necessarily have to, but would like to scale down. Great. Now, will you price your home to sell, or do you want it to sit on the market for a long period of time?
Well, I don't want it to sit, obviously. You know, it was for sale before, and the realtor didn't sell it. So I would like to sell it if I'm going to sell it. But if I'm not, then I'm just going to put it in the back of my head and start the rest of my life.
Okay. All right. You would like to sell it. That is great. Now, do you want me to handle the sale for you?
Not sure yet. I want to see what you bring to the table.
Very good. You want to see what I've got, and I would love to show you. So, so I'm going to review some questions that we discussed, okay, to be on during the initial call, just to make sure that I got everything right. So at the end of the presentation tonight, there's one of 3 things that will happen, okay? One, you'll have the opportunity to list your home with me, or 2, you'll decide not to list your home with me, or 3, I'll decide not to take the listing. Anyone is fine.
Okay, sounds good.
Great. So let's quickly take a moment to review questions I asked you over the phone. So you said you were moving to Texas, right?
Yes.
Right. Great. Texas it is. And you said you were moving because you wanted to downsize and be close to family. Is that correct?
Yes. Never be too close to family.
Never too good. Great. Family is great. Awesome. Now, you said you had to be there by maybe springtime, and we're now February. So is that still a time frame for you?
Yeah, that would be a good time. It'll give me time to transition over and then be able to start traveling.
Okay, so about the end of March. Okay, that's great. Now, would you like to price your home at $425,000, right?
I'd like to see what the numbers have changed to based on what you have, but that's where we were last.
Okay, great. You want to see what I've got to, what the new current numbers are? Yes. And you said you owe about 150,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, great. Now you weren't planning on selling it yourself, were you?
I don't believe so, but now that you put that in my head, maybe I should.
No, okay. You weren't planning on it. Terrific. And you did want the most money out of it, right?
Yeah, of course, more traveling.
Of course. Awesome. Wonderful. Now, there are two issues that we have to look at tonight. Number one, your motivation to sell, which you said, you could have it sold by and move by the end of March. So that's awesome. Sell this home. And number two, the price we set on your home.
Right.
Any questions before I move on?
Nope.
Great. So I've prepared a comparative, I'm going to call it a competitive market analysis, because we want to look at the competition and not just a comparable. And there are many parts to my research. I have the comparables for you of properties that are within half a mile, because there's quite a few in your subdivision and your area within that time range. And then we call it, some sellers will price it at a price that is not actually ahead of the market, but following the market. And we want to be ahead of the market. Is that correct? Do you agree with that?
That depends on how much ahead and where the market is going.
Well, when I'm talking about ahead is we don't want to be chasing the other sellers that have been on the market 60 days, 90 days. We want to present it at a price that will sell in order to get you to Texas by the end of March or beginning of April. Does that sound like a plan?
It sounds like a plan. I think I understand you, but I'm not going to necessarily price my home too cheap just because I want to get it in front of everybody else.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't want you to price it cheap just to meet your deadline. So totally agree with you there. So the purpose of the market analysis, the competitive market analysis, is to determine the value of your home, in the eyes of a buyer. And you do know how buyers determine value, right?
Yeah, everybody shops to see what the best thing they can get for the cheapest price.
And where do you think they shop first?
Probably online.
Online, exactly. And that's where they also find, where they want to move, relocate to another area. So buyers determine value by comparison shopping. Just like we go to the grocery store, we look at price of all, the food we buy. When we shop on Amazon or other sites, right? We do comparable. We want to get the right price for our hard-earned money, right?
Right.
Great. So I want to show you my competitive analysis. It is a very detailed. So may I have the sharing opportunity, or do I have access? Yes. Okay, do you see my screen?
I do.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so I did a competitive market analysis on a national program that we get from the National Association of Realtors. And it provides all the comparable statistics, what the market trend is, how many months it takes for properties to sell, or how many properties in your price range have sold within your zip code. Okay, and that's what I want to share with you, because it gives us a clue of whether we're in a seller's market or a buyer's market. Okay, and how long they're taking to sell. So this is the basic information, of your property. This program gave it a 405, thousand, without me doing the competitive analysis. And your home is a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2808 square feet, and then the lot is 7231 square feet. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And so then also it has a 2-car garage built in 2006. And then it has central air, no pool. It does have a fireplace, and it is 2-story.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
right.
very good. So this program here is what a lot of realtors are also going to look at when they're helping buyers. So they'll be able to come in here and see what the system compared to other homes. They'll actually get to see, you know, how much you paid for it, how much you owe, and you know, when it closed. Okay, so lots and lots. So because recording of purchases, documents, warranty deeds are recorded, we get to know. So like it shows your loan amount, what type of loan you had, you know, who the bank was, and the title company. Okay, so
Okay.
lots of information in case you ever have somebody say, where'd you get my information? Well, it's public to anyone and everyone, anything that is recorded. So buyers are very savvy, and their realtors are there to inform them. And this is what's been happening, okay, year by year since 2008, where your property estimated value was, and this shows up to October 22, right? Closed in the 400,000. So this
Okay.
is just a basic overview, just to confirm, okay, about your home before I get into the actual comparison. All right, now in the market trend, okay, it says in your zip code 78261, we have 3.55 months of inventory.
Okay.
So there are, you know, quite a bit of homes, and the turnaround, and this happens month to month. So based on this down arrow, we're still in a seller's market, but we're starting to shift towards a balanced market and then a buyer's market. When we have 6 months of inventory, then we're in a buyer's market. Between 1 to 4, we're in a seller's market. So you're putting your home on the market during a seller's market period that is starting to shift. And the
Okay.
median days in the market is 49 days. So do you understand this portion of it?
I
know,
do.
Any questions?
No.
All right, and it says list to sold price. So the properties that are listed, and that's the final list price. There could have been price reduction. So this is based on the final list price. They sell at 98.9% of the current list price.
Okay.
The median in your zip code of 78216 is 455,000 and change. Active listings in your zip code, 160. So that's why it's important to look at the competition. And for the actives, it's 78 days on the market. And then it shows you, you know, median price per square foot and such. And this is the lifetime of your property and that zip code. It has been growing. So this was the peak, all right here around February end of last year, March, and then it went down a little bit, then started going up, and it's now kind of leveling out.
Okay. It still looks like, from what I can see, it's a little bit better than that last peak.
Yes, right. A little bit better than this peak right here. So that's why it's good to know that we're still in a seller's market. Now, in the current county records, for those that had a price in the last 30 days, 20 properties in your zip code sold.
Okay.
Okay, and the median square footage was 2670. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay, all right. So single families, there's about 225 in the zip code. Okay, so now that we have kind of an overall of what the market trend is and telling us that we are still in a seller's market, we're going to look at the CMA, at the competitive market analysis. So the little wheel of, we call it the little wheel of death in Apple computer, but I have a Windows based. So the realtors and program is for realtors, but buyers will see all this information on the internet too, like on realtor.com, Trillo, Trulia, Zillow, so many hundreds and thousands of pages. All right, so the comps showed an average maybe of about 430, but I had to make some adjustments. So let's look at those properties that we did adjustments. I actually have 3 properties that sold and 3 properties that are active, because we want to look at the competitors. And the homes at, and as I mentioned, this is within a half-a-mile radius within the last 3 months, because the market is changing. Any questions on what I've mentioned so far?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I'm with you.
All right. So on here, we have your property on the left column.
Okay.
And then we have property 1, 2, and 3. And these properties have recently sold. Okay. So the first comparable, and these are all from 2005 to 2010. This is the newest one, because I compare 5 years newer and 5 years older. And that's how appraisers verify or do their appraisal. They compare by properties 5 years newer, 5 years older. And so that's exactly also what I do. And so we've got 2010, 2005. So the majority are between 2005 and 2007. Okay, so they're in your price range, in your year. So this one here closed December 2022.
Okay.
And how much did it sell for?
415.
415. Excellent. And what price per square foot?
158.
158. This one is how far from your home?
0.06, so just a little bit over a mile, half a mile.
So
Sorry.
0.06 miles, real close.
Oh, real close, sorry. Mhm.
Real close. Okay. And yours is a 5-bedroom. This one is what? How many bedrooms, baths?
Smaller in a bedroom, and it has 1 full bath smaller, but it has a partial that I don't sell. It's a half a bath difference. So they got, I have an extra shower.
That's 2.5 baths, 2 full and 1 half. Yours has 3 full baths.
Mhm.
Okay. Square feet, a little bit different. So I went down here and I itemized. So this one is 185 square feet smaller, 4 bedrooms versus 5, 2.5 bath versus 3, 4 years newer, sold within 36 days.
Okay.
Okay. And you know, they all have central heating and air, forced units, you know, fireplaces. They're on slab, combination of 3 sides. Now, you might notice, you say, well, that one says 1 story. It's not, it's a misprint by the realtor. It's actually a 2-story home.
Okay.
So I only compared with 2-story homes. Okay.
And what did the pictures of that house look like?
Okay.
How do the kitchens and bathrooms compare?
So let's take a look. As soon as my internet cooperates here, right? All right, so here are the pictures.
Okay.
So how do all those compare to yours?
Oh, the furniture helps. Mine's vacant. Well, oh no, the pictures are vacant. I think it's kind of similar, but their kitchen's a little bit seems newer than what I have, although I have that new fashion where the top cabinets are different than the bottoms. Seems to be the trend. So that I would imagine that would give me a good boost.
So it has, you know, different colors in some of the rooms, looks meticulous, large bedroom there, an office space, patio.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And this home, okay, closed at 415,000.
Okay.
And this was the one that was a 2010.
Okay.
Okay, so square, you know, just a little bit smaller than yours, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's go to the second one that's sold. So on that one, being that it is 4 years newer, okay, and yet it is smaller and it has a half bath, not less homes, more homes of 4 bedrooms sell than 5. And the market typically on your zip code has less 5-bedroom homes. So not that much competition in 5 bedrooms. And all the comps, I think, pretty much are 4-bedroom. So I adjusted it and the system reduced it by $73.94, okay? Because of the bathroom. The bathrooms are typically the most expensive in the bathrooms and the kitchen because we have the plumbing.
Okay.
And it is newer. Any questions on that one?
No.
Okay, so let's look at the second one. So the second one closed January 24th, 2023, so quite recent, at 144 square feet. Now, when a property is smaller square footage, the price per square foot will be a little bit higher.
Okay, so if you go down to go so I could see the top of the page where you have the 3, no, the other one, yeah. So it looks like here you have the 370 and the 420. The 420 sold 4 months ago, but sold higher. So why would I be interested in this one if I could use that one as a comp? 370 is low and I'm not even going to go there.
I'm showing you, lower and higher, whatever is within the half-mile radius of your home that sold within the last 3 or so months.
Okay.
Okay, so this one sold lower, right? But the system will use it as a comparable. We're not sure why it sold that much lower. Okay, but one of the reasons, it's smaller square footage.
Okay.
Okay, it's a 2005. So if I go to the summary, it's 233 square feet smaller, 4-bedroom versus 5, 1 year older, and it took 46 days to sell, or to close.
Did you call the realtor to find out any information on this house?
I did not. I have a lot of information on the internet.
Okay.
Okay, so
but you said you didn't know why it sold this low.
Oh, a lot of times I will call the appraiser, okay? And there are sometimes a more detail in the multiple listing service that we have in case it stayed on the market. It didn't stay on the market too long, okay? This one is, 0.15 miles away from your property, and I'll show you the map shortly. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. I can always call the realtor and find out, hey, why did it sell so low? Okay. Now, we didn't look at the pictures. Oh, I already had them open over here. And I do have high internet. However, it's still, so bear with me on the internet speed.
No problem.
So this one doesn't quite look as nice as the other one, but it still looks really nice.
My house is much nicer than that. The curb appeal there, I don't think is as nice as mine.
Okay, so that impacts the value. And then also the county assessed value, which realtors and I also look at. So this property by the system had a realtor valuation model price of 385, right? And then it broke it down to 370,000 where it sold.
Okay.
still a really nice looking home.
Yeah, it's nice and bright on the inside. Maybe they just sold to family or something like that. I'd want to get the backstory before I consider, how much of a difference that 370 is to mine.
Okay, and this program gives us, okay, this had a 5-star confidence on saying these comparables that they used for this property had a 5-star confidence. On
Mhm.
yours, it had, I think, a 4-star confidence.
Okay, yeah, but even here, if I'm reading that correctly, it said that it closed on the 24th at 370, but it said, I think on the 24th, 385 was the value. So it seems like they undersold it a little bit.
It very well, yeah, it could have had a price reduction. That is correct. Now, this one, I said that yours is a little bit better. So the system adjusted it by 3,370, but then it also takes into account the square footage on how the final price is calculated. So let's
Okay.
look at the third sold, because I have 3 sold. So this one sold for 420, and what date?
It closed on October 20th last year.
Okay, on October 20th. And the price per square foot is how much?
161, so a little bit higher.
A little bit higher. And that's because the property square footage is 2613.
Okay.
Okay, lot is a little bit similar. So let's look at my little summary. 195 square feet smaller than yours. 4 bedrooms versus 5. 2.5 bath versus 3. 1 year newer and closed in 35 days.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's quickly look at those pictures. Oh, again. Any questions while we wait for this to update?
No, not yet. I'm just curious as to where you think the value of my home is
Okay,
while we're looking through this.
okay. All right, so it sold for 420.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and these are the particulars about the house. Now let's look at the photos here. So no neighbors in the back. So that's a good thing. Some neighbors like to have the what we call the belt in the back, green belt. So no neighbors. However, you might have some critters like raccoons and deer and that type of thing.
Well, some people like wildlife,
Yes, true. I do.
so they might not consider them critters. It sounds negative.
Actually, I just closed on a home that the buyer definitely wanted a green belt behind her house because she already has another one. And fewer homes had that. All right.
So I'm starting to get an idea based on the pictures of what sold, how it might affect or what I think I should do, but I'd like to hear what you tell me you think would help my home sell this time.
Yes, and I will do that. Okay. So we can go through now. So those were the 3 sold. Okay. And then there were 3 active. However, they have not sold, correct? So this one is for 415,000, listed February 8th. Okay, so that's been on the market 16 days. Okay. And that's within 1.15 mile of your home.
Okay.
This one is active for 425,000, listed January 26th.
Okay.
Okay, and this one's listed for 435,000, listed in January 19th, on January 19th. So you've got from 0.15 mile away to 0.41 miles away from your property.
Okay.
Okay, so then I read, since these homes, okay, some of them are a little bit larger. This one is larger. So let's go as my little summary. 97 square foot larger. Again, they're all 4 bedrooms versus yours, which is a 5. And the lots were all similar. This one been on the market 16 days. This one here, 1 year newer. The lot is 1,000 square feet larger, been on the market 21 days. The third one, 65 square foot smaller, not much. 1 year newer, lot is 605, 9 square feet larger, and 36 days on the market.
Okay.
And we saw that the average of homes sold on, which was it? On one of my other reports was like 48 days on the market. Therefore,
But the average was 78?
So some of those already have been kind of over. So where was it? Right here. Okay, I can't remember where that stat was, okay, as far as the days on market.
I think you said it was 78 for the zip code.
78 for active, but for sold, like an average of 45.
Okay.
So these active ones here, okay, this one's already been on the market 36 days. So it should have gotten an offer by now if it was going to close within 45 to 48 days. This one's been on the market 29 days. This one's 16 days. So no offers yet. In some area, and we're still in the potentially seller's market.
So wait a second, are you saying the days on market is from the time it hits the market to the time it closes, or till the time it gets an accepted offer?
No, these, so on these, it's been on the market 36 days, being marketed, no offer yet.
Okay.
So some of the others, they got the others that were active, sold. Okay, let me go to these stats because it says.
So then based on what you were saying before about the averages being about 47 days on the market, then they should be anticipating within the next 2 weeks that those houses getting offers if they.
Well, they should have had a contract already, because typical, unless it's a cash offer, it usually takes 30 to 45 days to close.
Okay.
Depending on the lender. Okay, so this home that sold, right, it was listed November 15th and closed on the 21st. So
Okay.
some lenders can close in 20 days, 25 days. So buyers can shop around for lenders to find which one can close quicker.
Okay.
And it's also up to the buyer to provide all the documentation. And when I have a property on the market for sale, I require that they have a pre-approval, meaning that the buyer has already submitted their application and all the required documents for the lender to say, yes, we would be able to finance this family at this price.
Okay.
It's not a final approval, it's a pre-approval.
Okay.
Okay, so this.
So then you're saying that they check their income and their credit score? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, they check the
Okay.
credit score, their debt to income ratio, all their expenses, what loans they have, you know, whether they've been late on anything. They get 2 years of income tax returns, pay stubs for like 2 to 4 weeks, bank statements. So they've already collected all that. And the lender then provides a pre-approval.
Okay.
And those are the only types of offers that I will accept from realtors. I said, if you have, they say, oh, I have a pre-qualification. Well, that's not good enough. A pre-qualification, the lender just verbally said, oh, this is how much I make. This is how much I spend. Okay, we could probably do this much for you.
Okay, so you're saying that if you were the realtor, you want a pre-approval that basically says what you said, they check their credit. What if I don't want to deal with any of that, and I want them to go through underwriting, and I just want them to be ready to go find the house, and then we do the appraisal?
Well, the appraisal will typically be paid by the seller.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry.
No, not we do
buyer.
the appraisal. The person, the buyer comes in, and all they have to do is do the appraisal.
So Gina, when
that
we
part?
have realtors show your home,
Mm-hmm.
I stress to them, only bring pre-approved buyers. If the buyer is not pre-approved, we say, go back to the table, get them pre-approved before presenting an offer. So we
Mhm.
only look at offers from pre-approved buyers so that they don't waste your time.
I understand that. I'm just saying that I've heard of a situation where they can be pre-approved, gone through underwriting, where all they have to do is find the house, and once they pass the home inspection, all that's left to do is really the appraisal, and then they can close, so it can close that much quicker.
Yes, that is true. But quicker could be 21 days or 30 or 45, depending on what lender they use.
Okay, but it's
Because
possible,
Pardon me?
but it's possible.
Yes.
Okay,
The fastest I've seen a loan close is 21 days.
okay,
Okay. So I typically recommend my buyers and tell the other realtor, go to a mortgage broker, because they want to get their money just like we get paid when something gets sold. Lenders, the same thing. They go to a bank, they're employees. They don't have the drive to get it closed really quick. All right. So now we've seen the 3 actives and the 3 sold. And I ended up coming up with an adjustment on the initial price the system got by adjusting whether some of the other houses were newer, smaller, or larger than yours. Okay.
okay,
And the system initially came out with a value of 430. Well, some of them are nicer, some of them are not. So based on, and some had larger yards, larger square foot, some newer. So the recommended price that I came up with was 410,000, or a range of 405,000 to 415,000.
okay, and that's
Okay.
you're thinking of underpricing it a little bit so that it sells quicker, is that correct?
Well, I'm going based on the real comparables, okay, of the properties and not on the active properties. So when I finally narrowed it down to the price to recommend, I based it on the 3 properties that had sold. Okay, so which were, because the active properties, they haven't sold yet. So we don't want to compare pricing to them. They're our competition. These are the 3 that sold. Okay, so based on these 3, on all 6, the system came up with the 430.
Okay, but the number of the price, if you go to what's for sale, oh, you have it right here, never mind. So you have 415, 425, and 435, okay.
Yeah, those are
You're
on the
putting
ones
right
that
in
have not
between the
sold yet.
425 and the 435.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
You're putting me right in between the 425 and the 435.
Yeah, that's what the 3 active are, and they haven't received an offer up to 36 days. Okay, they are still active. It doesn't say they are under option, which means they have a contract.
Okay, so
Okay.
so your adjusted prices, you want me to come in somewhere, if you were to list a home somewhere at 405, 415, is that correct?
Between 405 to 415 in order to get your home sold and be leading the market and not chasing it and stay on the market 30, 40 days before we get an offer. Because, okay, these are the homes in your zip code
Okay,
right now that are active. Okay, so your home is somewhere around right here. But look at this,
Okay.
415, 415, 395, 425. And then these are a little bit further, 415, 390, 410, 418. So looking at all those homes, where do you believe you should be?
well, it seems like they're all around the same 415, 425, so I would want to be in there.
Okay, if we go to 425, we're chasing the market. That's the top price. And that's not a price I recommend to my clients who want to move within 45 to 60 days.
All right, so at the 405 to 415, 410 range, looking at my house, what would you recommend and what are you willing to do?
So I recommended 410.
Okay, so at 410.
Based on this comparable, yes, okay, and based on the ones that are right around your home. Because again, I did a half mile radius. Anything outside of that, there are enough comparables within your area. This only shows the active, not the sold, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, hold on. So this is very crucial, okay, to compare. These are following the market at 425.
Okay.
Okay, and it shows them. So this is what buyers are going to be looking at and what sellers are also going to be looking at to compare.
So Lily, if you're looking quickly at the homes that are up for sale now, are you saying that the newest one is the one that just went on three days ago for 532?
That went on 16 days ago. Okay, hold on.
Oh, wait, I'm looking at a different one. The one you sent me before has a different one. So it's 16 days ago. The PDF you sent me.
Yeah, let me go back to. So this one here, 16 days, 97 square feet larger. Lot is similar. Okay, that's this one listed at 415.
Okay, all right.
Okay, it was just listed February 8th.
Okay, got it.
That's the most recent one. Okay, so this is what I also looked at, right? So any questions on the comps? What do you think of the recommended price of 410,000?
Well, I think it's fair looking at everything else that's there because it's just under. And if that 415, which is the freshest one, hit the market, hasn't gotten anything yet to, if I want to get out quicker, that's where I guess it could be. But what would you recommend me doing for the house? Am I leaving it the way it is? And what kind of marketing are you looking to do?
Okay, so your house is really nice. I would say we can do multiple things. We can stage it or just move some things around, take some things out of the house. Okay, and we declutter so that individuals, buyers look at your home and not at what's on the wall or any other cutie things, right? We want them to focus on the property.
Okay.
And the benefits of your home. So we can have a stager come in, but I'm not saying that a stager is going to make the big difference. So we want to be able to have a home price at where buyers will go look at a similar property and like, why should I pay 5, 10, 15,000 for this one when Gina's is about the same and she's got it for 410,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, and then as far as my marketing, I have an 89-point marketing plan. In order to post it everywhere and anywhere, all the social media, there's like a couple thousand websites where buyers and realtors search. The biggest ones are Trulia, Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com. Okay, those are big. So I have an 89 ultimate marketing plan, lots and lots of activities. Okay, and I have an assistant that helps me do a lot of the marketing. In addition to me doing calling, just like I met you, right? I met you by knocking on your door.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Now, I also have a YouTube channel. So depending on the agreement that we come, where I market my properties and the communities of different price ranges. And it's called Living in San Antonio, Texas. When individuals, buyers are looking to relocate to another city, they search on YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google, and it's the #1 place where they start to search in order to learn about the community, things to do, types of jobs, why should I move there, the weather, and then videos of the inside of the home. Then I do right now what's big is called shorts. Do you watch shorts on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok?
Yeah, late at night, you get sucked into that.
Okay, so it's not showing my little shorts. So I also take from the big video, I then have my assistant repurpose it into little short snippet because I get lots more activity from the little snippets. I just had a client moving from Virginia call me because he saw this little short. Where's the sound?
Yeah, it's a little choppy coming over, so.
Okay, so I do videos like that. Oops, hold on. Lost it. It's like, where did it go? So bear with me. Okay, so these types of little videos sometimes get hundreds or thousands of views and attract individuals, buyers that are relocating to San Antonio. Plus, I educate about the communities, activities, downtown San Antonio. Oh, your area has a lot. So this is where I would be, you know, from different price ranges, condos to multi-million-dollar homes. So yeah, it's for buyers to say, learn anything and everything about the community before making a move. Okay, so then, so this is part of my marketing, and then they are repurposed into Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and done like weekly. Then the property is also boosted, okay, on our contact resource manager. Okay, right here, we have a very powerful tool, and this tool, I boost properties on here. And so each of the properties that I boost by, you know, spending money on boosting it, okay, then they end up generating leads that I then contact. See how many people are looking at my property. And then I hold open houses. I have an open house on this property this Saturday. Okay, so trying to find the page where it showed all the leads. Okay, here. Bear with me just one moment, you know, being on the internet and showing a lot of different things. So these are leads that have come in, okay, when I boost the property, and they come in every day, multiple leads, okay? So then the marketing. Okay, any questions on my marketing? You know, I do the normal multiple listing services, share it from there also to Craigslist. Our system allows us to share a property, okay, also to many media, very user friendly so that we can get the most marketing possible and reach all the realtors in the system. We have, you know, 14,000 realtors. They all will get notified by this. My assistant also emails them all. I have over 6,000 in my database with my sphere of influence, realtors, past clients, new clients.
All right, so do you take the pictures yourself or do you hire a photographer?
I hire a photographer. Okay, let me show you that. I hire a professional photographer. And also one of the options that I can provide is to do the video and to do drone footage. Okay, so these are the professional pictures. So I have relationships, I have a network of realtors, you know, the video, some video I do, some my videographer does. So it's all done professionally.
Okay.
Okay. So based on all that, the marketing, would 410,000 be a price we can agree on?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not going to necessarily nitpick. What is your commission structure?
Mike, I have different commission structures. So
Okay.
my first one is 6%.
Okay.
Okay, where I provide the photographs, professional photographs, market it everywhere. If you want to have drone footage or you want to have a professional video done, then I go to 7%. So it depends on how much you're wanting to have your property marketed as to what I will provide. Should you want a stager, have it power washed on the outside, the brick, have the driveway power washed, now we're looking at 8%.
Okay, so do you pay for that fee or am I doing it to power wash and do all of that?
Okay, yeah, I pay for all that in advance. And should it not close, then you are responsible for those costs. Should it close, it's based on the commission. The commission is what covers all of my expenses and the buying realtor.
Okay, so my concern would be if it's coming out of my pocket either way, it seems like a big adjustment. If the house is being sold at 410, you're charging an extra 4,000 just to do drone photography and then another $4,000 to do power washing. It seems a little bit steep to me.
Well, that's why I have the 6, 7, and 8, okay? Because my listings sell. Okay, I market aggressively, I cold call, you know, I create conversations every single day for 2 to 3 hours, calling the neighborhood, door knocking on the neighborhood, having also other realtors that are in my team do the same, hold multiple open houses. So all the different types of marketing, it all costs money. My time, my assistance.
So if you were to do an open house, what commission fee would we be paying?
I do that on the 6%.
Okay.
So the 6% is going to have open houses, all the other marketing, the boosting, and it'll have also the professional pictures.
Okay, so if I just wanted to do the 6% and just hire a photographer for a couple of $100 to do a video, I could do that, right?
Yes, absolutely. You could do that.
Okay, so we'll stick with the 6%.
Perfect. Okay, here are the documents. Any other questions? I do have one other thing I want to share with you, because one of the things that I hear about realtors is lack of communication. And I have a guarantee that I will have you sign that guarantees that I'm going to call you every Monday, or you can fire me.
Okay, I like that.
Perfect. Any other questions before we sign the dotted line?
Nope, that's it. We can sign. Let's get started.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm excited for you to get it sold in less than 30 days.
That sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Okay.
Awesome. Wonderful presentation, Lily and Gina. All right. So Lily, why don't you go ahead and release the share screen? And Gina, why don't you go ahead and give us your feedback for Lily?
Okay, so thank you for letting me be part of the presentation, Lily. I always notice with you that when you're yourself, you're real comfortable and it's easier for you to speak. I don't think you've quite gotten the script where you feel comfortable in saying it and internalizing it. Can you hear me?
Hold on. I only did the first page of the script.
Okay, I know, but you can definitely see the difference. And when you started, I don't know if it's the script that is a little bit awkward for you, because in the beginning I felt like you're not mirroring matching me, but as we got into it, you were a lot better. What I can say overall is your engineering background really comes through. And I think that you have to learn how to kind of adjust to the different types of personalities, because you're very detailed, and to a certain point, it can be a little bit, there could probably be a quicker way to give the exact information.
Yes, yes.
And a little bit more, and I'm only saying this because my background was architecture, so I get it. I'm more visual. There was towards, I might go just towards in skipping around. In presenting the value of your 6, 7, and 8, I didn't feel that that was quite concise, where someone would say, okay, let's do the 8 based on how you presented it. So if you're going to be doing that scale, maybe if you could just work on that, because like I said, my thing would be, I'll just pay the 6 and, you know, a couple of $100. So maybe just how you put that together or how you present it can show a little bit more value of why someone would jump that much to it. And it could be, I don't know if you're also doing it because you have mentioned in the past that there's a gentleman somewhere that does 10%.
Yeah,
Correct.
in Dallas, there's a gentleman that does 10%, and then he also charges $1,500 as a transaction. I'm not charging.
Right. So
And
I don't know if that's a tax benefit, because you can write off the professional fee. So maybe, you know, if you look into that, you know, again, it's just how you present the value. I didn't see that there was that much difference by just a whole $4,000 if my price is $4,000 just to add a video, versus, you know, I'm power washing and everything literally in the end anyway, because I'm paying for it. It's either pay me now or pay me later. So with that, I think the way you went through the comps was really good. It was very, you know, clear and concise. I thought you were good in your pricing. So you weren't like, you know, here's the price, but now I want you to, you know, undercut your price by 40 or 50,000. I was a little bit thrown off because the comp that you sent me was a vacant property. So that kind of threw me.
a vacant property?
Yeah, well, yeah, it showed as empty with no furniture in it. So mentally I was going, I thought that was my subject property. So that's why I was starting to ask questions the way I was. So when you said you thought that the stager wasn't a big difference, it doesn't add a difference. I think it can, but it's really hard to comment on, because I thought I had an empty property based on, because you didn't show the subject property to anybody.
I didn't show the pictures on the
Right.
subject property. That's
right. And the
correct.
subject property, the pictures are very dark. So you could have had
Yes,
that
they are.
opportunity to say, here's your expired, this is what was presented to the public, here's what I can do. You could either do it before and after, or how, you know, the benefit of your marketing could help. So only I was seeing, you know, the vacant property that was very dark. The pictures were horrible.
Yes.
So that would have definitely helped show that your marketing was a little bit better.
Okay.
Okay. And I think that's really all I have to say. Otherwise, just show a little less engineering if the person in front of you isn't an engineer.
Yes.
Otherwise, very good. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent feedback, Gina. Lily, how do you feel about your presentation?
It was too long, okay, because I don't normally go into that much detail. However, I was trying to do like the 1-minute presentation. You know, I try to do mine in 30 minutes. And I went into too much detail on the comparables and the statistics, you know, and that type of thing. I normally don't do all that.
Why did you decide to do that today?
Just because some individual like me like to see stats, and to emphasize the fact that, you know, of the absorption rate, which, you know, how many properties are selling per month, so that we could narrow it down to that 410. Okay. And because in her neighborhood, you know, they were having like 266 listings and 20 sold in a month. So I wanted to emphasize on that. And it was something new that I thought I would attempt to use.
Okay. All right.
I
Good.
saw a
Good.
presentation a couple days ago and here locally, and they talked about the absorption rate, how long the properties in that particular zip code have been on the market, and how many sold in just that particular zip code. And so I kind of grabbed from that and added it here.
So
Okay.
actually, what I do want to say too is that I know that that's your first presentation that you've done, and you've only had, quite a few, weeks to throw everything together in the middle of running a business and all that. So I thought it was very good in comparison to how much time you had adjusting to it.
Thank you.
Awesome. 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 Thank you so much, Lily. All right. So does anyone else have any feedback for Lily and Gina? Yes, Newton.
Hi, it's Newton.
Newton.
Yes, thank you. Well, wonderful presentation. I really enjoyed the analytical part of the presentation since I'm a former statistician. So my question is, maybe you've addressed this, is Gina's home had 5 bedrooms. Wouldn't it have been a better comparison to pull homes, even though there are fewer homes with 5 bedrooms in the area to compare to?
There weren't any 5-bedroom homes that had sold within the last 3 months. And I probably would have gone, further out, and there are not as many. I mentioned that at the beginning. The majority of homes are 4 bedrooms. And some builders that focused on 5 bedrooms, they typically take longer to sell.
All right, but do they also command a higher price?
Not necessarily. Having 1 extra bedroom is, they look at how many families really need, 5 bedrooms. Do they have, 4 children plus the couple, and then an office. And so it doesn't, an appraiser, they're not going to look at the number of bedrooms. They're going to look at the total square footage. It takes about the same amount of money to build a whole house, the same square footage, even if it has 1 extra bedroom. The cost is more on the bathrooms and the kitchen, because that's where you have the plumbing.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Newton. All right. Anyone else? Feedback?
Question, in your market, Lily, it is still viable to use comps older than 30
Yes,
days?
because we're not quite a buyer's market. As I showed at the beginning, we only had like we were like a 3-month products in the market. So we're still, right, a buyer's market goes into 6 months and greater. So we're still in many areas in a seller's market. And in October, our prices really changed. They really started to go down. So going past November or October, it's not a good price, because that's where it was peaking. And our prices have been going down 3 to 5% or more a month.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Robert. Anyone else?
Well, one more question. I really liked your presentation. I think you used RPR. Am I right?
That is correct.
I would love for you to share with me your presentation, how you came about, especially the adjustment of the comps.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'd be willing to share the PDF, and because adjusters, and there's a more detailed way to adjust. This system, you just click the little arrow, right? And it adjusts by a certain amount of money that's already extrapolated within the program. But it's a really good way to show and make a change on the prices.
Well,
Awesome.
thanks for sharing that, because I've often toyed with the idea of, I knew there was an option to use a CMA analysis using RPR, never really went down that route, but now I'm excited to try it out, thanks to you.
Very
Yeah,
good.
so if you, let me see. I shared it with Gina, however, you know, I shared the, I would have to share it as a PDF, but then that doesn't show you. But post your email on the chat
Sure.
and I'll see what I can do as far as,
So there's two ways to do it. There's this little slide bar like she showed where it was, could be a little bit less or a little bit better. And then there's the actual numbers that you have to punch in. I think what's important to understand is if you're coming into a marketplace and you're playing just sliding numbers back and forth and not understanding how the values are adjusted, you could get yourself in a lot of trouble. So I'd be very
don't do
careful
that.
when you start adjusting.
yeah, except it's a small, it's not a huge, a major adjustment. And we're not appraisers, right? We're realtors and they're all an estimate. Hold on, I'm trying to write her email before we go forward.
Hey, Dot,
Okay.
do you mind if I give her some feedback?
Yes, please do.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I need it.
I thought, Lily, that's one of the best presentations I've seen. And I want you to leave Texas and move here and run my listing team. I think that would be awesome. So, and all kidding aside, I'm actually
I don't know
serious.
how nervous I had been, kind of.
No, you did a fantastic job. So some real feedback, and that was real feedback too, by the way, I'm serious. I love, here's something I'm very uncomfortable with, and maybe some other people can add to this. That question about the for sale by owner, I kind of cringe whenever that comes up. And Gina hits you with that too, because that's what I'm always looking for. Hey, I wasn't actually thinking about it, but now that you mentioned it, maybe I could sell it on my own. Yikes, if they haven't brought it up already. I hate that. Now, some of you may have another opinion on that, but that is something that I avoid, because if they haven't brought it up, let's just skip it and keep on going.
Noticed how I didn't answer it. I just kind of.
I did. Good for you. Now, here's probably one of my biggest questions for you and everybody else. There's a particular coach, I'll leave the name out, that really approaches the presentation from the standpoint of let's get the marketing out of way first. Okay. And I've noticed this twice now on presentations where people do kind of all the comparison and then they get to their marketing. This coach's approach, which is what I use as well, is like, wait a minute, if they haven't agreed to your marketing already, they don't think you can sell the house, why are we even talking numbers? In other words, you get the close on the marketing. Does it look like this would be a benefit to you? Do you believe I can get this home sold for you? Yes, I do. It looks like you guys do a great job. Great. Now we have buy-in and we move on to let's talk about numbers. Now, I want to get everybody else's opinion because I noticed this now in a couple of presentations, but I do it the other way. This particular coach, by the way, he will literally say, well, then, hey, I'm sorry, we're not a good match. If they haven't agreed to your marketing, he's not even going to give you a number. Okay. So I'd like to get people's thoughts on that. And I loved, by the way, your line, Lily, where you said employees at a bank have no incentive. They're just employees. It's like, hey, it's 5 o'clock, I'm going home. Because I agree with you on that for sure. You know, use a mortgage person. Anyway, I'll be quiet. So there's a couple of questions for everybody.
So who's going to answer first? Because I'm sure we can all jump in.
Go ahead, Mark.
Nope,
Yeah,
you're good. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Whoever would like to address those couple of things. Oh, Mark, how you doing? Mark Hughes.
Good. How are you?
Good to
Can you
see
hear
you.
me? Good to
Yeah.
see you. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that was a great presentation, Lily. And I gotta tell you, I was really impressed with your social media presence. I mean, wow. I want to get my social media presence going like you. You're like a guru to me now. I'm like, man, I'm going to go to your channel and check it out. And I also like the summary at the end of what you was doing with your comps, with the RPR. I didn't know at the end of each one of them, you could have a little summary there. I think that was very useful because then you can go down to it and you can say, hey, this one's been on the market 38 days and so on. And I can tell you very detail oriented. I am too. And it's hard when we're like that. We have to like shorten it a little bit. And one of the things I do when I'm talking to, when I'm doing a listening presentation, I tell the people right away, I'm very detail oriented. And I say, if I'm talking too much, please tell me, I'll move on. And I'll let them know that right away, you know, because I could just, and they're like, oh boy, and lose them.
Gina that she said, okay, I want to see what you market. I said, okay, you want me to just bypass this and let's go.
And what you were saying, Mark, about that, about doing the showing the marketing first, you know, I kind of like that. I was just thinking about that. That's like giving them some candy up front, and you know, they see it. If they're gonna, once you show them that marketing and they look at it and say, hey, I like that, and you can see the expression, you can see how they receive it. And then you go right into doing your comps. Okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do now. This is what you need to price the home at. Hey, here's the list. Here's the contract. Sign this, and we can get started right away. I love that. So I'm going to do that on my presentation.
Yeah, I do too. I think, and I almost did that, right? Showed the marketing, because very few realtors have a YouTube channel and then do shorts and repurpose and put it all over the place. And, you know, so yeah, good point.
Yes, yes. But it was, I'm telling you, you are a social media guru to me. I was like amazed. I really, really like that. But great job, and Gina, great job at being the seller. You didn't make it easy for her. I love it when we don't make it easy, because we want to have a real life situation. And it gives us an opportunity to deal with those objections. But thanks again.
Yes, excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Mark. Anyone else?
So in response to your answer, Mark, first for the FSBO, the reason they obviously ask is so that you don't go all through the information and then you find out after that they're thinking of selling by their owner. But if you know what the objections are for a FSBO, then you'd be able to answer those questions. And that, you know, part of it is obviously the exposure that you get, and you're dealing with a different clientele than what a FSBO would be dealing with, because they're, you know, depending on the stats, anywhere from 7 to 12% looking for, you know, bargain buyers. As far as the other presentation of marketing over price, I can't remember who the coach was, but and we've had this discussion here once before. I'm not going to get his thinking is I won't give you my opinion of value unless you value my opinion, which is the marketing component. So it's really a matter of you deciding what to do. If someone's basically using you to find out what your opinion of price is, because you know they're going to go to someone else, then obviously your time to shine is by showing them what you do differently before you fill in the nitty-gritty of the filling in the blank price on the listing agreement.
May I add to that? So I used to be a formerly Sotheby's agent, and we were taught that the choice, so when you walk into a presentation, you give the choice of whether to do the pricing first or the marketing first. You know, you give that choice to the seller, let them decide. Because oftentimes, if you were to start with the marketing, they're not really with you, because they're thinking, okay, what is the price of my house going to be? So you quieten that, and they will almost always pick the pricing over marketing first. So you go through the marketing, the pricing presentation, the price is set, and then you can wow them with the marketing. But it's their choice, and most of the time they would pick pricing over marketing.
Okay, thank you so much, Newton. Anyone else?
Just one. This is just a quick question. Lily, I thought that was one of the best presentations that we've heard. I thought you really moved through it in a very organized way, and you really knew what you were talking about. I thought it was really good. Just a couple of questions. Like, Lily, what is your goal? Like you said, 30 minutes. Is that what you're shooting for?
Yeah, my goal is 30 minutes.
Okay. And then is that script that you were following, is that on the Facebook page, or is that someplace else? Okay, gotcha.
It's a mic fairy, but I only did the first parts of the first page. And then I kind of like, okay.
Gotcha. And then the last question was, if you were doing that in a real situation, would you print that out as a paper hard copy, or would you do it on the computer and try and go through that on your computer like you did?
I like to take my computer if I want to show pictures, because I have a tendency to flip-flop up a bunch of papers. And so what I take maybe is a summary. Now, if I can share you what my assistant does for me, let me share a summary. So where is it here? Okay, so my assistant, I have her do this. Let me minimize it some. So I always do active, pending, and sold, because and she does this for me. On this one, she came up with a lower price than I did, so I do the comps and I have her do it just so that I can see what she comes up with. And I didn't totally go with it, so she puts it on this format and for me, and then I'm having her. Okay, she did the square footage on this one. So that way they can see real quick, okay, 6 of them, there's the average and this. So I will print this. And then I also print the a 1-page, maybe. I like this because it shows the live pictures.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was good. The only maybe one last question is the 89 marketing strategies. I think that was obviously that's impressive to have that many. Do you actually do all of those, or is there an implication that
actually I learned
that they would think you're gonna, because I think you're implying that you're gonna do all of those, which would be great, but I think that would be a stretch to probably do 89 different things.
I actually learned from the listing boss, Haas Pratt. I hired him as a listing coach for 90 days. And he has that 89. He said, it's basically to tell him, hey, this is everything we can do. It's a sale tactic to say, look, we're not sitting on our butt. We can do all these, but do we actually do all 89? No.
Yeah. Good. Anyways, really nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Howard. Anyone else? Okay, so let me just say again, Lily, I think that you definitely came across as a millionaire real estate agent. You look like a millionaire real estate agent. You came across as being very confident, very assertive, very knowledgeable. You were definitely an expert when it came to your presentation. What struck me immediately when you started was how you changed your tonality and your voice inflection, especially when you got to, do you want me to handle the sale for you? I thought that was fantastic. And you really kept me engaged because of your voice, because you really did have a lot of information, which could have been boring for some people, but because of your tonality, I thought it was excellent. You were able to carry it. The other thing that I liked is the way that you would repeat and affirm Gina's answers. You did that pretty regularly. And I thought that was excellent because you definitely gave her the indication that, yes, I'm listening to you. What you're saying to me is very, very important. The market trends, I thought that was phenomenal. And then I was trying to think, am I saying this phenomenal from a realtor's perspective or from a seller's perspective? And I don't really have the answer to that question, but I just thought it was really, really good information. And again, you just seem to really be on top of it. And I like that a lot. Let's see, room for improvement. The only thing that I can say is definitely try to cut down the presentation. You don't want to, I don't think we should have an hour-long presentation. We definitely want to cut it down. If your goal is to have a 30-minute presentation, I think that would be fantastic. But the presentation overall, I thought was excellent. Gina was a fantastic seller, as she always is. She's never easy. And so I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. Fantastic. Does anyone else have anything that you'd like to say before we end today? We're good? All right. So guess what, everybody? So next week, we will have superstar Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes will be presenting his FSBO listing presentation inspired by Jackie Kravitz. And Zandra Jameson will be the seller. That's next week at 1 o'clock. And I think that's it. I think we are, let's see, I think we are totally, oh, we do need a seller volunteer for Friday, March the 31st. Alexandra Vorbe will be providing her FSBO listing presentation inspired by Jackie Kravitz, and we need to have a seller volunteer for Friday, March the 31st. Any volunteers? Seller volunteer for Friday, March the 31st. No volunteers? Okay, we'll get back to that next week then.
Yeah,
Can I add something?
Yes, I would.
Sure.
So regarding making the presentation via paper or computer, so we used to line it up on the computer and just share the computer so that you go from one screen to next to next to next. So it's easy flow of conversation and presentation. And the other idea being psychological, so you don't leave them with a lot of information that creates FOMO, so that when you're done, they said, hey, I want that. But you're not leaving them with anything. It's just an idea that has been presented, and they're more likely to bite.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Okay, everybody. So on that note, again, thank you so much, Lily, and thank you so much, Gina, for this awesome presentation. Again, we're leaving with some invaluable information, and that is fantastic. So on the count of 3, everybody, let's unmute and we'll say, take those listings, and everybody have a wonderful weekend. 1, 2, 3.
Hey,
Those listings.
All right, have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.